What's up, everybody? Frrrrred here, and welcome to another Minecraft video. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to build in the Ethnian style. Whoa! Before we get into this video, people, I need to ask you guys something. Right. So, the world in which all of this takes place, the fantasy universe of Kaiia, is insanely complicated and pretty dang awesome. It's filled with all sorts of species and cultures and whole histories. And if you're at all interested in my making a video in which I attempt to concisely explain the history and the mysteries of Kaiia, with accompanying visual aids and ancient documents, videos, and a special behind-the-scenes interview between Fred and Handguy, then please leave a like on this video and comment Kaiia lore in the comments section below. And now, back to video at hand. Ethnia is another country in the fantasy universe of Kaiia, also home to the Tallians and Handites, and it is a country filled with deserts. Nothing but desert as far as the eye can see. As you can see here, that is a good example of Ethnia right behind me. The Ethnian houses are usually rather simple and square, although they have a lot of complicated intricacies which you're going to be seeing. Ethnia is oppressed by a cruel government and is having some financial difficulties, which is why they later invade Handis. But that is a story for another day. Let's get into the tutorial. The first step, as you can see I'm doing here, is to make the foundation of the house. A foundation is very important because without a foundation you don't know what you're doing. The next step, in an Ethnian house at least, is to put wooden pillars at the corners. These wooden posts are an integral part of most Ethnian house designs and lend it a kind of, I don't know, stability, especially in conjunction with a foundation. The next step would be to make a roof. Ethnian roofs are always flat because it never rains in Ethnia. It just never rains. This is a fact of Minecraft desert biomes that even when the weather is rainy, it's not actually raining. So in Ethnia, all the water has to come from springs. And these springs are not very common. But wherever there is a spring, a city will generally appear. And the water becomes a valuable commodity. Here, the next step is to fill in the roof. Some people use /fill. I use /fill sometimes, but here I'm not going to do that. I am going to fill it in by hand, and really it doesn't take that much more time. Once I've finished filling it in by hand, I must make a second story. Ethnian second stories are usually very small, cramped, and uncomfortable, and that's just a fact of life if you're building a second story on an Ethnian house. Don't question it, okay? Right. Little note about making second stories. Don't give them a foundation. I mean, maybe a foundation would look nice against the roof, but if you did that, then you'll see you'd have to have 2-block thick wall. See, I've made the foundation. No foundation, okay? Because you'd get a 2-block thick wall against one side, and that just does not look good. Okay, so the foundation is not a thing that you do. I've seen it done, and it doesn't work. Right, so the same flat roof, wooden corners, and that's basically it on the floors of the house. Sometimes there are even 3-story Ethnian houses, but these are not very common. The next step is to fill in the walls with the base color for the patterning. Ethnian walls usually have a painted pattern on them of some kind. Oh, and a door. They usually have a painted pattern on them of some kind, and usually not much in the way of windows, so as not to let in hot air from outside. I'm using red terracotta as the base color for the wall patterning, which will be patterns of complementary colors against the red. The Ethnians, living in such a bland, colorless environment as they do, really like to decorate the outsides of their houses as much as they can with terracotta, which is relatively cheap, much of it being imported from Tallian, which is under Ethnian control. But that is a long, complicated story. Again, for another day. If you want me to make a Lore of Kaiia video, then comment Lore of Kaiia in the comment section below, and I will make a very complicated video explaining all the lore behind these worlds. In the meantime, it's time to think about patterning. I have some complementary colors for this red in my hotbar already, and I'm ready to start putting on patterns. I often like to do a little sort of, I don't know, diamond shape or semicircle square, whatever. It's not really a circle because Minecraft. But these little patterns can have those blocks and then have a block in the center or not, depending. And they are a common feature in Ethnian builds, often with a different color block in the center, like you saw blue over there, and here we have orange. Also, if you have a little area with 2 blocks wide, like there, you can put something called a support, which is just a bunch of sandstone that looks like it's part of the house, but it's really part of the pattern. Here I'm doing a simple checkerboard alternating pattern, and here I will put another similar pattern made out of yellow, but I'll put orange in the center to make it look like a pair of those things, and some blue, because blue just looks really nice. Here, some orange, just in a couple of those shapes, with yellow in the center, and another sandstone support. Here, we have a sort of wide open, the time, I set it tonight. Okay, that was stupid. I meant day. I'm setting it to day now. Alright. Now, here we have a wide open space and a possibility for something a bit more complex. A pair of those little doodad things. And here, let's see, a sort of a pattern with some orange there and some yellow there. Okay, that looks quite nice. Just needs a bit of sandstone. No, some blue instead. Yeah, that looks good. And a dash of sandstone here and here. Very nice. Here there's a possibility for 2 of those things, one yellow and one orange, and both can have blue in the center, really. That makes a kind of sense. And the next big job is to do the interior. Oh wait, but I forgot about these walls here and here. But the next thing to do is the interior. Now, Ethnian interiors are usually pretty simple. Not much of the population has very much money. They're kind of oppressed. 99% of their population is in a pretty bad state. This is actually a medium wealthy house, upper middle class, I'd say, and they can have an alright interior, but still, by Handite, Handian, Tallian, or whatever standards, it's pretty crude, with little bits of fur laying around and stuff like that. But the Ethnians, they used to be renowned for their rugs, but recently the government has been seizing the rugs and exporting them at great profit to itself. Here is a staircase, because when you have enough space right here for a staircase, then staircases are good. Some people say ladders are superior, but I think staircases are nice when you can have them, because why not? This room will probably end up being a kitchen. Yeah, I'll make that a kitchen. Here's the door from the dining room to the kitchen. We're gonna make a basic 3-room structure here. Living room here. There we go. Not altogether dissimilar from the layout of the Tallian house, in fact. And so, first thing to do is to have some light, because light, yeah. Okay, the next thing to do, after we've added a bit of light, is to put in some interior in this room. Brown carpet for furs laying about on the ground. Put a little in here, and a little in here. And also, I want to change these stairs to actual stairs. I mean, why not? Also put some stairs underneath them to make them look as if they're supported. There we go. Very nice. Makes it look much more walk-upable. No little awnings. I mean, sometimes I do little awnings, but here it would not look good. Right, so spruce slabs for a kind of coffee table, a low coffee table, and oak for a wooden, longish chair. Okay, that's a couch, actually, not a longish chair. Right, put that over there. There, much better. Put another chair there, and a chest. There needs to be a chest in here. No, not there. Maybe here? Nope, that looks terrible too. Maybe I'll put a chest in the next room. I don't know. But we'll see about that. This is a dining room, so I guess there would be a dining table. Let's see. Some kind of seating. No, that's way too couchy. You don't have couches in the dining room. What am I thinking? A table. A wooden table. Pretty simple. Use some oak wood slabs. Not stairs. Slabs. There we go. Very nice. And some spruce chairs. All very simple. Yeah, I've got to get to myself some spruce stairs for the chairs. There we go. Put one here, and then another one here and here so that their feet are not actually hitting each other under the table. And now it's time for the kitchen. Now, Ethnian ovens are usually pretty underpowered, sometimes with just a little bit of a torch or something. Because everything is already so hot, they usually eat like dried meats. They don't bake things that much. Here I'm going to use a little bit of wizardry I often employ. We have an item frame with food in it. Looks like a plate of some kind. Some pots for drinking vessels or cups or bowls or whatever. They're pots. There we have our wimpy oven without even a chimney. It gets pretty smoky in here, people, but that's Ethnia for you. Now, some cabinets that, I mean, they can't actually have something in them, but they look like they might, with a counter below. Right, okay, I really want a trapdoor back there. How am I going to do this? No, 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 no. How is, no, no, this isn't going to work either. I don't think, no, no, no. You know what? Forget it. I'm just going to block that up and put that there. Fine, it's fine. Whatever. Okay, so the kitchen is almost done, although I'm not entirely satisfied with the oven here. Maybe add some source of heat. Yeah, that'll work. Totally smoky and ineffectual, but it's really more for drying than it is for cooking. And now we come to my absolute favorite part of building a house, or at least building an Ethnian house, is the dilapidation process. I love this. You just get to break off little corners of the house and sag them down using slabs, or build them up a little bit, also put blocks just laying around. It just gives it a whole bunch more character, just makes it feel more lived in if it's damaged in a certain way. There is a lore reason for this, that in Ethnia, building loans have not been issued for a long time due to a certain slump in the economy, and not a lot of houses, in fact, almost none, have been built for a long time. So most houses are over a century old and have hardly been repaired at all, and therefore they're quite dilapidated in many. Most houses are not in very good shape. A house completely free of this kind of damage over time is usually a sign of a rather wealthy house. Besides, it just gives it just a whole bunch more character if you just bring it down, make a little corner here. No, I hate the way light. Yeah, that's better. And just throw some slabs around as if bits had broken off and fallen down. Just with a wide open space like this, I'm just going to put a little bit of sag at the corners. I could put more sag in the middle, but I want to make it look as if something was holding it up in the center. I'm going to add some uh, fences later that look like some sort of support. That looks so good. That looks great. This corner. Yeah, just bring it down. Chuck some slabs about on top of this roof. Yeah, that looks really good. Oh, that looks good, yeah. Right, next step is to put the fence supports. It just looks as if people had used cheap materials to bolster their sagging roof. Yep, there we go. And throw in some spruce fences as well, just so that it's not all just one kind of fence. There you go. Oh, that looks great. Right, you gotta do this corner. Here you go. And there. Boom. Okay, the next thing that needs to be done is just a little bit of fence just laying around on the corners and the sides and the surfaces of the house to look like some support or just bits of fence. just stuck on. It just gives it more detail. Alright, now along this side, I'm going to put another common feature in Ethnian houses, which is the diagonal support beam. Quite common. There we go. Very nice. And let's replace some of these with spruce. These beams are just tacked onto the side of the house to hold it up. Right. Okay, and I'm also going to texture the corner beams, the corner posts, with some jungle wood, which makes it look as if it was perhaps weathered or rotten. Probably not rotten in this arid environment, but weathered, yeah. Okay, just put a little in there. Awesome. Okay, the next thing we need to do is put on the all-important awning. In Ethnia, there isn't much way of showing one's loyalty to the party, especially without voting, because voting is actually illegal in Ethnia. Anyway, so people put on these awnings using the colors of the Ethnian flag to show their loyalty and to prevent marauding soldiers of Ethnia from coming and beheading them just randomly. And yeah, this is known to happen. So they use these patriotic awnings to show their loyalty to the state. I forgot to do the upper story when I was doing the interior, but I can do it now. Very simple. Just a couple of brown beds, throw them in there, and another awning, fence supports. Very good. Okay, done with that. Right. So, I am pretty much done with the main stuff. All that remains to be done is a little bit of detail. Now this is kind of a pro thing. Not many people know about the debug stick, which you can give to yourself just by /give player name debug stick, but it can change the status of blocks in a certain way. Right here I'm using it to add or remove fence prongs, is what I call them, is the bits that stick out from a fence when they're attached to another fence. It just adds that little bit more detail to your build. Thanks for watching Frrrrred Build the Ethnian House. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, be sure to like and subscribe to never miss another awesome video from the MCOE. If you want me to make the Lore of Kaiia video, then comment Lore of Kaiia in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and have an awesome day. Frrrrred out.